Hey, all you lovely people. Welcome back to Milk and Screams. I am Jacob.
And I am Kyle.
And on this episode, we decided we're going to talk about Christmas.
Christmas. It's getting closer to Christmas.
It's getting closer to Christmas.
Have you wrapped any gifts yet for people?
Absolutely not. I have 2 gifts out of a total of I think 9 that I need to get.
Is one of them for me?
No. I don't have your gift in the mail yet.
I can't
Speaking of that, we need to go check our mail.
I was
We keep forgetting.
I was gonna say that earlier and then I forgot to say it to you. We have to check that.
Oh god, there's so much stuff in the mail that
We
I
probably have so much fan mail from all these listeners.
Yeah, if you want to send us mail, you're probably really lame, but we'll take your mail.
Hey, don't say that. I'll take anything.
I'll take mail. I'll take mail. Mail time. We'll have to think of a fun mail name when we do mail time. Whenever we get fan mail.
Right. Do we have to come up with a theme song as well?
That's hard. We'll talk about it later. How about that?
Okay.
So welcome back, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed last episode. To give you a quick little update, Kyle's out of vid.
Yeah, we're face to face again
Which
recording this.
It feels good because I feel like last episode was so weird.
I was staring at a wall, and I said it then, and I'll say it now. I wish you could have seen the fury in my eyes in the middle of that conversation. I just wanted to strangle you, and you couldn't see my fingers tightening. Ugh, I couldn't express the rage that I wanted to. But we're back.
Yeah, and just to give you another little update, I have watched, I think now 6 DreamWorks movies. I plan on rewatching even the ones that I've watched before. So in total, I've watched 5. So that video will probably not come out till next year, I'm going to be honest. But it's going to be a good one. I have a feeling there's still lots of stuff that I have not talked about yet, and I'm really excited to go for a part 2.
Yes, we'll reserve all your opinions for the episode where we bring it all back.
Yes. So, without further ado, I think it's just time to get into Christmas stuff.
Okay.
Because first of all, everyone was saying at the beginning of the year that even Black Friday and Christmas wasn't going to be the same this year.
True.
I don't think that's the case.
Why not?
Well, number one, because I feel like you can still go get stuff if you want to go get stuff. I feel like nothing's hindering you at this point.
Well, I mean, a lot of stores do have their capacity, especially on Black Friday. A lot of stores set a percentage capacity limit so that people weren't just bunched up on each other trying to get into a store. So that was different in general because a lot of stores weren't nearly as swarmed and chaotic and deathly.
But I don't understand why you can't either buy it online. I don't understand when people. I mean, I understand why people go to stores. I completely understand it. But the deals are the same online, if not better sometimes.
Yeah, that's why I hate Black Friday. I just hate shopping in general. If I'm in a store for more than 30 minutes, I've been there too long, and I will leave.
Well, I don't mind shopping. I actually like shopping. I like perusing. I like looking at stuff. And I like spending money. It's just what I like to do. But online, it's unparalleled how easy it is.
Yeah, and once it became super easy, they started making Cyber Monday, for the same deals as Black Friday stuff, just on Monday and online. I do a lot of my shopping online for Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah, but like people were so worried at the beginning of the year, but they're not being anything available, and I feel like that's not even a problem at all.
Well, I think that the main concern for a lot of people for Christmas being different is their ability to actually be with their families.
That's fair.
Because so many people live away from their families and can't go back and travel via just a car and safely traveling to home. They live on opposite ends of the country or even opposite ends of a state, and they can't make the drive for whatever reason. And they won't go to an airport because of the vid.
The daggum vid.
Stupid vid.
Guys, vaccine's coming. Hold tight.
I will be the first one. I will be the first one. As soon as they roll it out, I put that needle in my arm. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready for this.
I'm not scared at all. I think and it's not like I've done extensive research, but I've done enough research to where all my fears of anything are quelled. So yeah, I feel pretty good. And it's a feat I think it's not being talked about enough how it's just a feat of human ingenuity and just the smartest people working as fast as humanly possible breaking their backs. They really need to get like some kind of medal.
Yeah, that's a crazy fast vaccine. That's
Like-
crazy fast.
Like and the fact that, you know, very well it could end up being free or little to no cost. Like that's amazing.
Yeah, it kind of blows your mind that something that was this huge in scale for this long of a period of time is very close to being remedied for the general public for not a lot of pocket change.
Well, someone's paying for it, but it's not going to come out of the people's pocket.
Oh, for sure. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
as the consumer, I don't know what we are technically to this vaccine.
Technically, you would be a consumer.
But as
yeah.
the consumer, it's not going to cost us that much to get rid of this. Just trying to wipe this year away from our memories with one needle in the arm.
Yeah, it's gonna be okay soon, guys. Just hang tight.
The way I said that made it sound like the vaccine is just going to wipe our 2020 memory. It's not.
Wouldn't that be great?
It's not actually something that fixes COVID. It just gets rid of our memory for 2020, and that's good enough.
That's good enough. So, Christmas, I guess, for some people might be a little bit different. But why look at Christmas this year when you can look back at Christmas past?
Exactly.
So we wanted to talk about something that we I think we both kind of hold it dear, but I think you more than me. Holiday movies.
Oh yeah.
Holiday movies are dope.
Oh yeah. I love me some Christmas movies.
We want to talk about some of our favorites. I think you're going to be surprised by some of my list because I try not to go the traditional route.
Okay.
Not saying like, you know, oh, friggin' Avengers Endgame's a Christmas movie. It's just I went some of them are not traditional.
Okay.
So we're just gonna go through a list and just talk about some of our favorites. So Kyle, I'll go ahead and let you start.
Okay. I'll give my. Well, you want to go back and forth? 5, 5, 4, 4.
Sure.
Three.
I have more than 5.
Okay.
So
I did a top 5, but I can do more than 5 because I also put on some honorable mentions on my list.
There we go.
But
We could do that.
I'll just go ahead and I'll start with my list that I actually put in top 5.
Cool.
So my number 5 on my holiday movie list is the first Santa Claus movie
With Tim Allen.
with Tim Allen.
Okay.
That is, I would I want to use the term. I want to keep the term classic sacred. So I'm not going to say that it's a classic Christmas movie, but it is a movie that is classic in my household and in my life specifically. I hold that movie in very high regard.
It's a good one.
I think it's a great movie. I think that's some of Tim Allen's best work
Yeah, I agree with that too.
outside of Toy Story.
That's very true. Yeah.
It's some high quality Christmas, and just like the whole like theory idea that Santa Claus has been a bunch of different people, and the person that is Santa Claus is the last person that murdered Santa Claus. I think is really
Yeah.
funny.
It's a really good movie, and it's fun. I haven't watched that movie in a while. Notably, I thought about putting it on my list, but I really haven't watched it in long enough to be like, you know, I love this movie. I definitely hold it in high regard. It's just, you know,
It's so good. 2 and 3 are kind of meh, but the first one
Yeah.
is a banger. Love that movie.
yeah, very good movie. I think that's kind of indisputable. And like as far as Christmas movies go, because there is a lot of garbage. There
There's
really is.
so much trash. Basically, anything that has ever premiered on Hallmark, I hate it.
Well, I think
Any of
that,
those.
to be fair, it's not made for 22-year-old men. It's made, you know, for women mostly, I guess, in a sense. I bet you there's some men out there who dig it, but
Oh, for sure, probably. But I am not one of them.
yeah, it's definitely not our demographic.
No,
I mean, that's for sure.
I've seen quite a few of them as well. Just 'cause
Really?
I know my mom likes to just kind of have them on because I swear like 18 of them have Kristen Chenoweth, and she loves Kristen Chenoweth.
Yeah.
And so a lot of those are on just kind of all the time.
You know what movie I haven't seen, and I should have watched it before we made this episode?
What's that?
Klaus. It's the animated one on Netflix.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen it, but I was actually looking through a list of Christmas movies to make sure I didn't miss anything from my memory, and that popped up, and I was like, oh, I haven't seen that, but whatever.
We have to watch that. That's stupid. I don't know why I didn't think about watching that before this episode, because I probably would have really liked it. It's an animated movie. I'm gonna go ahead and recommend it. I've never seen it, but I recommend it.
Okay.
Watch it, guys.
Okay, great.
The first one on my list is Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
That was on my honorable mentions.
Really? Your
Yes.
honorable mentions?
Yes, it's in my honorable mentions. It's a great movie.
Yeah, that's a classic, and there's so many lines in that movie that my family quote around Christmas.
Mine too.
even if we don't watch the movie, it's such a quotable movie.
It's so
and
good.
there are a lot of. I mean, that movie's a series, right?
Yes, they have a bunch of different like Lampoon's Vacation or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just the one Christmas one. Yeah.
Right. I was the Lampoon's Vacation.
Yeah. There's a couple of them.
Those are so good. I really like the comedy. It's
My favorite part is when they ask the grandma, what's her name, when they're about to eat dinner, and they ask her to pray, and she goes, I pledge allegiance to the flag. and
the cat on the carpet.
And the brother, he kind of looks so confused, and then he stops folding his hands and puts his hand over his heart.
You know what? I should do that at Christmas dinner this year. I should ask to say grace and start doing the Pledge of Allegiance. That'd be so funny. I love the quote, I don't know, Margot. Like that.
Yeah.
That's something my mom and dad say all the time to each other. It's such a sweet thing. That movie's good. That's just such a good movie.
That's a good movie. Yeah. I feel like that's, besides Community, the TV show, that's like the only thing I've ever seen Chevy Chase in is those Lampoon movies.
Chevy Chase. She's a woman. Yeah.
No.
Oh.
He is the main character. He plays Mr. Lampoon. The
That's-
father. I forget his name.
That's Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
And he's in Community as well. I've never seen Community.
Yeah. I feel like those are the only two things I've ever seen with him in it. But he's, this big name actor for however many years. Incredibly controversial because, he's just an awful person. But I feel like those are the
I
only
had
two
no
things
idea
I've
he's an
ever
awful
seen
person.
him in.
I've only ever seen him in Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. So.
Well, I mean, honestly, just keep it there. Don't ever look into him. Just keep your standard of him there. You'll be happier.
Okay, cool. What's your next
All right.
one?
My number 4 is the Home Alone duo, 1 and 2, both
Home
of
Alone.
them. That is a sequel that did not flop. Home Alone 2, so good, so well done, and I think one of the reasons, I think a very big reason why the sequel didn't flop and was so good is because they didn't try to introduce new villains to Kevin. Like, they put him in a new setting, but they wrote it to where the same villains actually found him in New York City. And then so the same chaos ensued where he just kind of screwed on him with a bunch of paint buckets and rollers and electricity. I just think they're all so funny.
I love the scream. I think it's in the second one where he gets electrocuted and looks up and he just screams. Oh, the spider's on his face. And he screams. That's like one of my favorite sounds in movie history.
And my family, we even quote the second one more than the first one.
Really?
Because, and the best quote that there is for all of us, especially when we were little watching this movie, is when he's walking through the house and Kevin has like set up all these traps and they were like renovating this apartment. So it's like 3 stories tall and there's a hole through each floor. And Marv, the stupider one with the big hair, he just steps and falls through the hole 3 stories and he falls on his back. He looks up, he goes, wow, what a hole. That's it. And it's so funny to us.
It's so funny. It's crazy how like roles that are for comedic purposes, like you can tell, first of all, nobody wrote that. That's something that he came up with on the spot. And it's so crazy. He probably never thought about that line again. Or maybe everyone on set had a laugh about it, but like he never thought about it again. And someone's family is quoting that at Christmas time. Like that's just such a funny thing to think about.
Yeah, it's all the time. We'll do it when we when me and my brothers, if we're playing video games of any kind. If we're just kind of running and we fall somewhere we didn't know it was there, we'll go, wow, what a hole.
Yeah.
Just cause those I will say are classic Christmas movies.
I've got to admit, I have not watched Home Alone in quite some time.
Oh, dude, we watched Home Alone 1 and 2 over Thanksgiving break while I was home.
Really?
Yeah, it was. I think it was the day of Thanksgiving. It was after the parade. We were making food, and the Home Alone movies we just kind of had playing in the living room.
Yeah.
So good. We always have them playing at some point during the holidays.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we watch movies, but like I said, we don't watch. I mean, there's one we watch every year, and I had the one say for number 1 because that's just the number 1 for me.
Okay.
But I think it's definitely on your list somewhere. But regardless.
Okay. Let's hear your next one.
My next one is Scrooged, the one with Bill Murray.
Scrooge. Oh, you know what? I have never seen this movie,
Really?
but I have heard of this movie.
It's down at the bottom of my list. I have not seen it in a long time, but I remember it being a very good, touching movie, and it's got some really funny comedy in it. I don't have much else to say about it. I just know that movie is just good.
Like I said, I've never seen it. I do love me some Bill Murray though.
It's a good movie. That's really all I have to say about it.
Okay, great.
You can go on to your next one.
Number 3, which I'm gonna call this one a classic as well, just for the sake of pretty much everybody loving this movie, is Elf.
Elf. So Elf is my number 1.
Elf is your number 1.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I have a pretty funny story about Elf, and I think it's pretty synonymous with everybody who's ever watched Elf. The first time you view it, you just think, "Oh man, this movie is so stupid."
Correct.
like the first time you view it, you're like, "This is the dumbest premise and everything, and it's got really good actors, but why?" And it's like, it's just so bad. But the second time you view it, it wears on you a little bit, and you actually start feeling emotions, and the acting's actually pretty good, and it's got good pacing, and it's got good actors. It's really, really funny. Will Ferrell just takes it to a whole nother level. And it's Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau directed it.
Yep.
It's such a good movie. We watch that one every year.
Oh yeah, we always watch it at some point because you have to. It's
Yeah.
Elf.
It's just so good, and I think it's definitely not what solidified Will Ferrell's career, obviously, but like it's one of his highest marks.
Oh, for sure. That and Kicking and Screaming.
Yeah, he's had a lot of movies come out, but I mean that's just one of his what he'll forever be known for. It's almost like Robin Williams' Aladdin, or Genie for Aladdin. Like that's just his thing.
Yeah, people like Will Ferrell, Robin Williams, Tom Hanks, they have just this huge arsenal of movies that are all so good. So good.
Did Robin Williams do any Christmas movies?
I don't think he ever did it. I'm sure he may have at some point, but in my brain, no, he never did a Christmas movie.
You know what I'm thinking of? At the end of Jumanji, there's a Christmas party that he's part of, and he's dressed as Santa Claus.
Is there really?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I remember. Yes,
that's
I
what
remember
I'm
that.
thinking of.
Okay, gotcha.
God, I love Jumanji. I really want to watch Jumanji
Great
again.
movie. But yeah, those people like that, they have this huge, I wouldn't call it a resume because I mean they don't even have to look for work, but just this this huge arsenal of movies that are like a majority bangers,
right?
And then anything that wasn't a banger was still pretty good, and then there are just a couple of misses, but
right. Everyone has those. So yeah, Elf ended up being my number 1. I'm excited to see what's in your top 3 because
that is my number 3.
Oh, number 3, right?
That's my number 3.
But yeah, Elf's my number 1. For number 3, for me, I'm gonna go for Jim Carrey's Grinch.
That is my number 1.
That's your number 1.
That is my
so
number 1.
Kind of switched them around. Okay, cool. This movie's incredible.
It's such a good movie. And here's the thing I'm noticing with the Christmas movies, at least that I've picked.
Mm-hmm.
They are all incredibly quotable.
Yeah.
Like there are things that happen that have never left my brain. And Grinch is one of those things. I can quote the entire scene where Lucy Liu comes into his cave and he's trying to scare her off. That entire scene, that is one of the best scenes in cinematic history.
I think we should just give an applause for Jim Carrey.
Okay.
Because he's just so good.
What a guy.
I wish we had a sound effect, but it's okay.
We don't need it.
Maybe we'll add it in post.
No, I absolutely will not do that.
It's staying. Yeah, Jim Carrey's the best. And when you learn about the logistics of that movie, it's kind of nuts because all that makeup it takes a lot of time to put on. This was really early too. Like when was this?
2000.
2000. So, like you think about it, cosmetics today works a lot differently.
Yeah.
And from what I understand with Jim Carrey, it was torturous.
It was like 8 hours that he would have to sit in makeup to get all that done.
And then not only that, he had to act in it all day long and then get done. And he did it for months on end. They actually hired, from what I understand, like a CIA operative or an ex-CIA operative to help coach him with like working with torture, because that's how painful and like arduous it was for him to work through this.
Yeah, I mean it's so nuts,
And
and a lot of people like to boycott the movie because like the rumor is that he was kind of a nightmare to work with on set, and he was just kind of mean to cast members and production team just because he was so frustrated with how much he was going through every day to be doing the movie. I do not boycott the movie for those reasons. I don't boycott it at all because it's the best Christmas movie.
Well, I don't think you need to boycott it to understand why he was acting like that.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, and I think Mike Myers had similar issues with Cat in the Hat as well. If I'm not mistaken, he had
Probably.
just these crazy issues with like him putting so much makeup on and cosmetics to be the cat. You know, that's also such a good movie.
Also a fantastic movie.
And another Dr. Seuss book. So I love that movie. It's a good movie, quotable. Performance is great, and the story is just a classic story, you know?
Yeah, I will say, having talked about it, I do have the original movie in my honorable mentions, because the original How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the animated, also an incredible movie.
Some people prefer that one, and I'm not going to argue with them. Because,
oh no, for sure.
Because that one's really good too.
I always lean more towards the comedic standpoint more than the classic, but that classic movie is still so good. Also, you have to watch that every year as well.
Yeah.
That's such a good movie.
For sure. So, it's your turn now. Go ahead.
Okay, well, so this is the last one of my top 5, and then like I said, I got plenty of my honorable mentions that we can talk about.
Oh, you're right.
What is my number 2 is A Christmas Story. I love that movie.
This one didn't make my list. I know it's a really good classic one.
Yeah, I will deem this one a classic as well.
I don't think I've ever. Well, I might have watched this one through once or twice. I just don't remember it that well.
Like the leg lamp is obviously so classic, and him looking at the box and saying "fragile," a classic line that is only funny when you're watching the movie. Like, I couldn't get a box at the front door that says "fragile" and say that, and anyone around me laugh at me saying that incorrectly on purpose.
Right.
It's just in the frame of this movie that's funny. It's so good.
It's a good movie. It's got a bunch of quotable moments and a bunch of just like pop culture, like, you know, like it's standing to test, like it's its own pop culture thing, like the bunny costume and like you'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Bunny
like,
costume, say uncle, the tongue that sticks to the pole.
Yeah, those are all like things that we think about.
I can't put my arms down because he's got 18 jackets on.
And at the end when they go to the Chinese restaurant, because it's the only thing that's open on Christmas.
Oh yes, the duck, and they can't. That's what
cut the head off.
It's one of the best scenes because they can't sing the songs, and he keeps trying to fix them. And I don't know if this is true. I don't remember if I read this or not. Maybe I'm making this up, but I feel like at some point I read that they were actually trying to sing Christmas songs, and they just couldn't get it right. And the mom, like laughing at the table, was laughing because they just couldn't get the Christmas songs right, and it was like her actual laughter. It wasn't like scripted that they couldn't do it right, and then she would laugh at them, and then they would come in and cut the head off of the goose,
the Peking duck, or
the duck, that they were served. And they actually couldn't do it correctly, which I think is just so funny.
Yeah, that's great. That's a good movie. So I have. Do I only have one more? Is that really it?
I mean, like I said, I got quite a few others that I want to mention in the process, but that was my 5 that I had in my order of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This isn't a movie, but
okay, I don't like it. I don't like it already.
Great. The SpongeBob Christmas episode for me is one of my top favorite Christmas artifacts.
But we're talking about Christmas movies, Jacob.
It's a special. I'll call it a special. Is that okay if I call it a special?
Well, now I got to redo my list because I'd have to put the Madagascar Christmas special on here, and the Shrek one for sure.
No, the SpongeBob Christmas special will always hold a place in my heart. It's so stupid. It's so funny.
Dear Lord.
The introducing Bikini Bottom to Christmas is just so genius. The song in the episode's great. I'll always love it.
I do not think that I have ever seen this.
The whole premise is Bikini Bottom's never had Christmas, and Sandy's like, "You guys never had Christmas?" And SpongeBob's like, "No," and she's like, "Well, Santa's gonna come. Y'all better be ready." And then SpongeBob goes into town, like tells everyone about Christmas, and Squidward's like, "No, I don't want Christmas."
Is that the same one where they say that claustrophobic means that he's afraid of Santa
Yes.
Claus? Okay,
Yes.
then I have seen this.
Yes.
Okay, I thought that was just a normal episode of SpongeBob.
It's called the SpongeBob Christmas Special because
Okay.
the pirate comes out and he's like, "Ahoy!"
Okay, then
Yeah.
I've definitely seen this.
Yeah, it's a really funny and good, and it just really gets you in the spirit. I don't know, for me it does. It's just like really nostalgic.
Okay.
That's my guy. I love it.
I mean, I haven't watched that episode in the good Lord knows how long, but I don't think that wouldn't make it even close to my list. Just because there are things that are so much better to do with Christmas than that.
Well, like that's the thing with me. Like I specifically remember looking for this on the TV guide every year at Christmas time. I specifically remember like looking for the SpongeBob Christmas Special every year, and every year that I watched it, it was always my favorite to watch.
You know, we have, you know what? I'm getting us back on track of things that are really Christmas.
Oh,
We're
okay.
coming back.
So you're gonna go like that then?
We're coming back.
Jesus.
We're coming back.
Oh no.
That was a terrible thing to put on your list.
No, it wasn't.
I hate it.
It was number 2.
Your list is poop.
No, it's not. There's half of my list is your list.
Yeah, but that made it poop.
No, it didn't.
All right. I'm gonna go through some stuff that I also watch almost every year.
Okay.
Okay, so these are all kind of in the same vein. Are Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and what's it called? The Year Without Santa. Those 3, like, those claymation movies.
I just put Rudolph. I think Rudolph is my family's go-to. I love Rudolph.
I love all 3 of those, and they're so good. Like, Santa Claus is Coming to Town has just a very classic song that, you know, you put one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a good song. And then The Year Without Santa Claus with the Snow Miser and Heat Miser. That
Yes.
song, so good. So good.
I think Rudolph is just really, it has a good message and the acting's good, and there's so many one-liners in that one. Like, you're late for off practice. Like, it's such a good line. And the Rudolph's the one with the Yeti, or like the snow monster, right?
Yes, it's the one with the snow monster, and then they go to the Island of Misfit Toys.
Yes,
and
that's such a good movie.
It's a great movie. It's a great movie.
That's one we watch almost every year too.
Yeah, I think I'd probably watch all 3 of those every year, definitely, for sure.
One I put in my honorable mentions that I recently come into deep contact with, like I performed in part of it, is It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, I didn't even put that on here. I love that movie.
Yeah,
Love that movie.
It's a Wonderful Life is an interesting one because it kind of teeters the line between Christmas movie and not Christmas movie.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I was a part of a production of It's a Wonderful Life, a part of the radio play, and then that year we actually watched the movie, and the movie's pretty good, and it never won an Oscar, but it was nominated for Oscars back in the day.
Yeah, the movie is very good. I honestly didn't see it until maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was Christmas time, and I was like, you know, I've never seen this movie. I'm gonna watch it because I think it was on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And I could watch it. So good, such a good movie.
I think because they sing Auld Lang Syne in the movie, that it technically would count as a Christmas movie. I think it's just, if you sing Auld Lang Syne, you probably just are a Christmas movie. But the reason why we think it's a Christmas movie today is because in the 80s, the TV companies that were like a part of like just your TV channels, like your 3 channels or whatever, always would take off on Christmas. And they would just play royalty-free movies all day long on loops. So one of them that would happen to play is It's a Wonderful Life, and was a classic at the time, you know, in the 80s, you know, it came out like, what, the 40s or something like that. So it was a classic, and it would play 24 hours on like one TV station on a loop. And people would turn on the TV and see It's a Wonderful Life and watch it every year. And that's just how it became a classic. It wasn't because it's just this, you know, great Christmas movie.
Yeah, I mean, I know it takes place during Christmas time, but I think also because of like the message that
Right.
is given at the end, it becomes more Christmas because it's the very same message. It's in the same vein of like A Christmas Carol,
Right.
which is another one I have here. Is
Yeah.
any movie, not any movie, but even the animated one that they did. How long ago was that?
Animated Christmas Carol.
Yeah, the
That's also has Jim Carrey,
Jim
right?
Carrey. Yeah,
I don't know. It's like maybe 10 years ago now.
but also a really great movie. But same message in that it is in A Wonderful Life. You know, he comes back and he appreciates everything more, and you know, blah 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 blah. Just A Christmas Carol is much more forward about it being a Christmas message.
right.
But yeah, It's a Wonderful Life is a great choice. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, I kind of had to. I think Christmas Carol is great. We can talk about Christmas Carol now because probably your next one.
Yeah, I just since we're on the topic, love Christmas Carol. And then,
What's your favorite adaptation?
I don't know. That Jim Carrey one really is so good. But I mean, honestly, my favorite adaptation is the one that I was in when I was 7 years old at our church. The
Me
play
too.
that we did.
Yeah,
Obviously, my favorite.
I've been in that show so many times. It's it kind of that's why it didn't even make my honorable mentions because I've been in it so many times. It's just not even like a classic to me anymore. I think the Muppet Christmas Carol is my favorite. I haven't watched it that many times, but the Muppet Christmas Carol is really good.
I've never seen the Muppet Christmas Carol. Don't look at me like that.
Yeah, I think you need to get out. What do you mean you've never seen it?
I don't know. I've never really cared about the Muppets, to be honest with you. That was
The
never.
Muppets are really funny.
I mean, that was.
You've been friends with Douglas for how long, and he never showed you the Muppet Christmas Carol?
I mean, maybe he did. I just if I ever saw it, I don't remember a single bit of it. I'll say that much.
You know, Rizzo the Rat. He's a part of the Muppets.
Yes.
In the credits, he's credited as Rizzo the Rat playing himself.
They're all playing them. What?
Well, no, like Kermit the Frog plays, whoever. Uncle. No, he plays the other guy. His brother. What's his name?
Oh,
Crockett.
Crockett. Yeah.
Yeah, Uncle Crockett. He plays him. So Rizzo the Rat as himself. That's so funny to me.
All right. I guess I would have to watch it to understand that, but as of right now, I get nothing out of that.
Cool. Go ahead. Your next one.
Do you have any others that you had on your list?
Let me see.
Because Christmas Carol was the one from mine.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I have Grinch, Wonderful Life, SpongeBob.
Then
Yeah,
I've got.
that's good.
Okay.
I'll put Charlie Brown down.
Oh, Charlie Brown. That's another great one.
That's a good one.
Great one. Frosty the Snowman. Great movie.
Animated classic.
Classic movie. Classic Christmas song.
Frosty.
All around. I don't know if you've seen this movie, White Christmas. The
No.
Christmas movie with Bing Crosby from, I don't know when that came out. Probably
the
the
50s.
50s, something like that.
Yep. I haven't seen it.
It's actually a really good movie. The music in it is pretty good. All the musical numbers that they have, I really like. It's just a good movie.
Good movie.
It's very relaxed, and there's not, like these. There's not like high stakes or anything to the movie, as with most Christmas movies. It's just Bing Crosby with his beautiful voice singing to you every now and then, and it's really relaxing. It's a good movie. I've seen this movie one time, Miracle on 34th Street.
That's a Christmas movie?
Yes.
I have no idea.
What do you mean you didn't? What do you mean?
I haven't heard of that movie. I mean, I've heard of that movie. I never watched it, so I didn't think it was a Christmas movie.
Yes, very Christmas movie. Very, very, very Christmas movie. It's a really good movie. I haven't seen it in years because I don't think we own it, but I do remember loving it. And then last one, I don't know if your elementary school played this on loop every day around the holidays. My school did, but I still love it, is the Polar Express.
Oh, I didn't even think about the Polar Express.
That almost made my top 5. It almost edged out the Santa Claus movie. I was wrestling with myself.
Yeah, that's a good one to put. That's a good one to put top 5. I agree with that. If you did that, I wouldn't be mad.
A lot of people do not like Polar Express. There's some stigma to not liking the movie. I don't know what it is, but a lot of people just have this disdain for it, and they just don't think it's that good. And I think those people are idiots, and they should be part of that group that isn't allowed to read. They all belong in that group.
I think the animation's a little rough in some parts. I'm not saying it's all
for
rough.
sure.
The story is endearing, and I think the voice acting is great. It's another Tom Hanks one, right?
Yeah, Tom Hanks voices like 18 people in the movie.
It's really good. I'm not gonna sit here and nitpick at it. It's a good movie. It passes as a Christmas movie. It's a good Christmas movie.
And like the way they had Tom Hanks voice different people is just so interesting because he voices obviously the train conductor, and then he voices the
hobo?
seemingly homeless person that is like the friend, and then he voices Santa Claus at the very end. So
18 people.
Precisely 18.
Precisely 18.
So it's like there's this relationship between all the people that he's voicing.
Yep.
And then you like it after he's about to fall off the train and he doesn't, it kind of seems like the homeless person himself is an angel of the train. Like he was talking about how an angel saved him at one point in his life, but then he was the one that somehow saved him. And he's like he's all these different characters of Christmas. Like he's the embodiment of it in Santa, and he's the fanatic of it in the train, and he's the homeless guy that is just kind of around it, and like believes in the spirit of it, but like has no one to celebrate it with, but still has that spirit. He's just all these different. I think it's so good, and I think he voices the dad as well.
Oh, really?
Of the kid, the one that's like kind of cynical and it doesn't believe in Santa, obviously, because he doesn't hear the bell.
Yeah.
So he plays someone that doesn't even believe in Santa in the first place. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
It's good. Tom Hanks. Love you, guy. Tom Hanks, if you're listening to this.
Tom Hanks. You know what? Hit us up.
Cheers to Tom Hanks.
I'm going to give you.
Clink.
I'm going to give you a case of water. You deserve it.
That's all he gets. That's all he deserves.
That's all I can afford.
We're kind of broke, guys.
22-year-old college students? No. They're not broke.
Yeah.
They're overflowing with cash.
We're flux, bro. We're fluxing. All right. So, we've talked about every Christmas movie there ever is.
Every single one of them. If you contact either one of us and say, what about this Christmas movie?
It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist because we talked about all of them.
So don't contact us.
Don't contact us. Don't tweet at us. I don't want to hear from you.
Nope. No. So I thought we should talk about some Christmas gifts we have received in the past.
The gift that we've received in the past.
Gift.
Okay. Do you want to start?
I only have like 3 or 4 written down, so
okay,
I'll try and think of more as I come along, but
okay.
That's all I really think of.
So, okay, here's where I'll start. I think we talked about this in the very first episode, how much I love Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't allowed to read or watch Harry Potter growing up. And when I finally was allowed was one Christmas when at every Christmas there's this box that my mom has. It's the same box every year. And the 4 of us kids, we grab one of the corners, we open it, and there's half a bajillion movies inside that she bought that we now own, in DVD form. We always get a ton of movies every Christmas in one big box. It's really cool. And one of the years was the Harry Potter movies. And so obviously once that happened, I watched all the Harry Potter movies for the first time. I hadn't ever read any of the books, but watching those movies for the first time is obviously what introduced me to Harry Potter. And then I read the books, and then I watched the movies again, and then I read the books again, and then I watched the movies again. And I've seen them a billion times, and I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, and that started from my Christmas gift of Harry Potter movies that she gave all of us.
And Harry Potter is a very Christmas-centric franchise.
Yeah, a lot of the years before, they just have this ongoing battle that gets way more serious in the latter half of it. Every year there's a very Christmas portion of all the Harry Potter books, and the movies, obviously. So yeah, the Harry Potter movies I guess I would say a fairly large turning point in my life when I finally got to be introduced to Harry Potter, because that's something I hold in such high regard now. Mm-hmm. And it was a Christmas present. So Harry Potter movies.
Harry Potter. Gotta love Harry Potter. One of my favorite Christmas gifts of all time, this is gonna make you laugh.
Okay.
Is the Chris Pratt stand cardboard cutout that you gave me for Christmas. That has been such a long-standing bit in my life. You gave it to me now 4 years ago.
I was about to say that. I think that's 4 years now. Yeah.
Yeah, you gave it to me 4 years ago. It's a Star-Lord cutout and it's been in my room for 4 years.
It's life size.
It's life
It's the
size.
full 6 foot whatever.
And it's scared people when they walk in my room. People have said, "Why is that there?" I'm like, it's a Christmas gift, and I have loved that thing ever since you gave it to me. So you made the list, Kyle.
Yes. Yes.
I doubt I made your list, but I don't know.
No, you did.
I did.
You did. Which I meant to say it with the Harry Potter movies thing is you gave me a little pop, a Harry Potter pop.
Harry Potter pop.
You
The
know
pop vinyl.
the little pop figures. But I have a little Harry Potter one that you gave me,
That's
and he's
right.
in his just his Hogwarts school gear with the robe and everything. And I love that thing. One of the sides of the glasses is broken, and it has been for a while now.
Really?
Yeah, but it's not like noticeable. Like it still sits perfectly on his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But you can just if you tap the glasses, it would fall off a little bit.
Interesting.
So, but yeah, I love that thing. It's a tiny little cute little guy that I
Little
that I
guy.
like.
That's a dang little guy right there. Too cute, dang little guy.
Let's see. Okay, here. One year the four of us all got iPods. So another way my mom does things specifically during Christmas is and in the living room, obviously there are rat presents under the tree. And then the four of us have almost like a station that is quote unquote assigned to us in the living room.
Huh.
So there'll just be like a set of gifts just kind of laying on the floor with like a piece of stationery paper that says Walter. And those are all Walter's gifts that maybe she thought were, maybe not the biggest ones that he would want to unwrap, but something that's cool that he would like right then, just to kind of be there.
Hmm.
And one year, the thing that all four of us got, we all had an iPod sitting at our little station. And we didn't have phones yet. I didn't get a phone until 10th grade.
Mm-hmm.
I forget how old I was when I got that. I know I was in middle school. But yeah, I got an iPod, and then, that introduced me to this whole world of mobile games and
Yeah.
music that I'd never gotten to hear before, because I could have just access to all different kinds of music. Even though like free music streaming wasn't a thing yet,
Yeah.
I was able to find more music on my own time. And so I got introduced to a lot more music. Like I found Queen that way, I think. And I found,
Wow.
because growing up, we just listened to a lot of contemporary Christian music because it was a very sheltered Christian grow up. And then as we got older, we were allowed to be exposed to more things. And so I found things, like Queen and Billy Joel and Elton John and these people that I love and are Frank Sinatra, people that are on my top list of artists, I found because of my iPod.
Yeah. I had a very similar experience. I remember one Christmas getting passed down an iPod or, something like that, or getting a Nano or something like that, and being exposed to a lot of new music. It's a part of like burgeoning childhood that like you remember very specifically.
Yeah. And then like I said, that also I got to be a part of the Fruit Ninja craze and the Doodle Jump and all these Angry Birds, though I honestly didn't play Angry Birds that much. I wasn't that big of a fan of it, but I played it because, everyone else did.
Temple Run? Do you remember?
Dude, let me tell you a story about Temple Run.
Temple Run.
So that is a game, that is probably a mobile game. Of all the mobile games that I've played, I have a lot of just throwaway ones that I just play for a couple minutes in downtime. Temple Run probably has my highest amount of gameplay time.
Really?
I would have to guess. Is Temple Run, maybe Clash of Clans is above it with how much I played when I was younger, but Temple Run is high up there. And I remember one time I was waiting at my optometrist. I was waiting for my appointment, and I was just playing Temple Run. I think this is when I had gotten a phone at some point, but I was playing Temple Run, and, it was speeding up, and things were catching up to me, but I kept going. I was getting all these boosts and all these coins, and I was like, man, I can't be stopped right now. And I got to 10 million something points before I died. And 10 million was an insane number to get to. Like, she called my name and I was still going. I was at like 8 million something. So I'm walking into the office playing Temple Run, and I sit down. And I remember specifically, I had it like, and I hated being this guy too. I do not like being the person on the phone when you're in an appointment or a meeting of some kind. Like, put that thing away, put it face down. You do not need it. But I was sitting there, I can't put this away. I can't pause it going this fast because I'll die the second I resume it later, and I can't close it because then I'll lose it all. So I'm sitting there playing, and she's like, what is the smallest letter you can read? And I looked up for half a second, like,
Oh
was
my
look-
god!
I was looking up for half a second, still playing. I was like,
what the
F.
heck?
And I'm sitting there going from like screen to phone to screen to phone to screen to phone. My head is just moving all over the place. And at some point, I finally died, and I was like, okay, I can relax. I'm so sorry, Charisse. I was real busy.
Charisse!
And
Jesus.
I'm serious. I must have sat there for probably about another 2 minutes that I was
How
sitting there
old
with
were
her.
you?
That is hard to say.
Like I can imagine like a 13-year-old Kyle doing this.
Like I said, I may have had a phone at this point. I may not have.
Right.
So because like I don't know if I did or not, then I was between the ages of 12 to 14 to 15, somewhere around there. I would guess that I was around the 13-ish age.
Mm.
But yeah, I was I was moving on that run. That was a good high score. I don't think I ever beat that score either.
No. Well, another gift that I got at Christmas, this is one that I got from my family, was an Xbox 360. It wasn't specifically given to me, but it was given as a family gift.
The lesser console.
The lesser console for some people, but this for my like narrow, path point of view, this was the best console ever. Like this was the best. And we got to Connect eventually, which was, some people say, a failure. We loved the Connect at my house.
Yeah.
I don't know why, we just did. It's the same reason we love the Wii, I guess. It was just different with the Wii.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the Connect felt very family oriented.
Mm-hmm.
Same with it, the Wii did, and like my family, we didn't have a Wii, but everyone in our family loved the Wii because when we were spending time at a friend's house, it was the Wii that we always played to play things like Smash and Mario Kart and stuff like that. So the Wii was held in high regard.
But the way they gave it to us was pretty interesting. So at the time, we had an Xbox. And this was the year that Xbox 360 was coming out, but
Gotcha.
we had an Xbox. And my sister had won it in like some kind of raffle, which is the craziest thing you could ever say. Like you won actually something good in a raffle, but she won it in a raffle. So we started opening up gifts, and I opened up Halo 3. And I was like, Halo 3? What? Like, I was blown away because I loved Halo, and Halo 3 was supposed to be like the best game of the year. And I was like, Dad, we got Halo 3. He's like, what does that say on there? And I was like, what? And he's like, Mom, did you buy him this game? And she was like, yeah, I bought him the game. It's for the Xbox, right? He's like, no, it's for the Xbox 360. And I was like, what? Like, we don't have an Xbox 360. And he was like, I'm sorry, we got to take it back. And I started crying. And the girls had the same issue. They're like, I have a game, Xbox 360 too. Like, Mom, you're an idiot. Like, and eventually they brought out the Xbox 360 that week.
How old were you?
I was probably 9 years old. We were all a bunch of gullible idiots.
So there's no way you were piecing this together. Like, they got me all these 360 games and we don't have a 360. So I can't play the 360 games, and there's no way they got me a 360.
I was like 8 years old. So like I was so gullible. Like I was the most gullible being on the face of planet Earth. And they eventually brought out the 360. If Brittany, if you're listening to this, you have to do this to your children, because that is it's like the best prank ever. I'm sure she's gonna do it someday.
I am for sure.
Yeah, it's the best.
Well,
that's definitely something I remember from Christmas.
In the same vein, when we got the PS2, I was very young, and I don't remember it that well. But the reason that I bring it up as one of my favorite gifts is because it allowed me to play Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts.
My favorite video game of all time.
Wow.
Is the first Kingdom Hearts. And I'm serious, on my old PlayStation 2 memory card, when memory cards were a thing.
Yeah.
So on Kingdom Hearts, you could have 99 games. Like they had 99 slots for you to save a new game. I had every single one of them filled with a fully completed game, where I had gone and found every item, and I had crafted everything so I could make the ultimate Keyblade. I had beaten every boss. I had done everything.
What boggles my mind about this, Kyle, is that you had the time and determination to do this and do school and do it well.
Yeah, baby.
I don't know how on earth you could have the time to do this. I had this weird condition when I was a kid where I just wouldn't beat games. If I would beat some of them, like Pokemon and like other games, But like there were games that if I couldn't beat it, I just gave up. And I just threw in the towel.
Yeah, no,
I don't know.
I was the exact opposite. If I couldn't beat a game, I would sit there and I would play it for I don't know how long until I got past not even just beat the game, just got past whatever part I just could not get past. And I feel like we talked about this just recently. I feel like everybody does this where there's something you can't get past and you just kind of set it down and you come back the next day or a different day with cold fingers and you get past it on the very first try.
Cold fingers, just a good way to put it.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
Like, you're not warmed up, nothing's happened, but you breeze past it.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
PS2, huh?
PS2, needed it, and obviously it introduced me to PlayStation, so I've obviously played a lot on the PS4, and will hopefully get myself a PS5 in the near future.
Fingers crossed.
Because I want it. I want it.
Another one, my family has done this a couple of times, this kind of gimmick, where they do like a scavenger hunt.
Yes,
on
yes.
Christmas.
I've done that once.
They did like a scavenger hunt thing where like, you know, they had clues around the house for all of us, and we end up getting like a vacation at the end of it to win.
Gotcha, yeah.
And that was always a fun thing. There was one year that I was incredibly creative. Like she had it like in cookie jars, like she had clues inside the cookie jar all the way in the bottom. Like it was really well thought out. Like my mom was really creative in that way. And that's something that will always stick out in my memory. I think the problem is with all these big gifts is like the smaller ones, like from my childhood, I have no remembrance of them at all. Like I don't think about anything that I ever had, like a toy that I played with. Like I don't remember if it was my birthday or Christmas, but I remember waking up one morning and there was a bike in my room. Like
Really?
someone just brought a bike in my room. I don't know if it was like my birthday and I woke up and it was my birthday or it was Christmas. And looking outside or thinking about the outside doesn't help because Florida's the same in winter and summer when my birthday's in the summer. So it doesn't really help.
No, yeah.
So I couldn't imagine snow outside. But yeah, the crew, we went on 2 cruises that were both Christmas gifts. And then I think we had one Tennessee trip that we had for Christmas. Does your mom say this? Does your mom every year around like November when you bring up Christmas say, guys, it's not going to be a good Christmas this year. Don't even
every single year. And this is what makes me mad. This is what amazes me every year. Is that every year, because you know my mom is a single mom and she doesn't make a whole lot of money with the way that she works. So every year, it's guys. I mean, this probably won't be as big of a Christmas as it was last year. Like you might not get as many things for Christmas this year, and every time I'm like, Mom, that is okay. Like, I understand. I'm also older than I ever was. I'm not yearning for gifts. I like to be home with you guys. I like when you get me stuff, but I'm not going crazy if I don't get that many things. It's not a big deal. And every year she's like, okay, well, I just want you to know that it's going to be probably smaller Christmas. And then Christmas morning comes, and there's still like 25 gifts around me, and it takes 4 hours, because the way my family does it is we all open it individually. So like one person opens one gift. And then pictures, and then someone else opens one gift, and then pictures, and then I open one gift and pictures, and then he opens one gift and pictures.
Wow.
And there's still a bajillion gifts, which a lot of them are kind of smaller things that cost maybe a little less, but still are things that I love, like board games or just like some sort of Rubik's puzzle. And she always kills it every year.
Yeah.
And this year again, we're at home for Thanksgiving break, and my mom goes, okay, especially after this year with everything that's kind of been going on. I have a little less money, so Christmas might not be as big, and I guarantee she's gonna kill it just like she always does. I swear she's Superwoman.
I specifically remember waking up one Christmas morning. I don't know if somewhere in the timeline of my childhood, my dad just got this huge bonus or something, but there was an overwhelming amount of gifts underneath the tree. So, like it made all the other Christmases look like crap. I remember one year we were flexing, and I think it was the year that all of us were in the house, like all 4 of us. And I remember like it came out onto the living room carpet and like just was everywhere, and you were just like, whoa, like you're like, where do I start? And like
like in Home Alone 2 when they all wake up in the hotel. And they come out, and they got the owner of the toy store had sent a bajillion gifts, and they're like hanging from the ceiling because there's no more room on the ground.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm really excited for Christmas this year. I always am. You know.
I got a couple other ones that I just want to throw out there.
Kyle, go ahead. I apologize for cutting you off.
A couple years ago, I got a leather jacket that I love.
Leather jacket.
I want a leather jacket because I wanted to be cool, and now I am
Mhm.
because I have it. Okay, so this is one that I loved as a kid. I use it all the time. Is I think myself and my older and younger brother all got one. We got a bow and arrow.
Ooh.
So they were dull arrows that we got, those dull pointed arrows, and it was the company Bear, and we had these kids bow and arrows, and at the house we lived in at the time, we were getting very situationally pampered, I guess, because like the place we were living, the rent was super cheap because we knew the people, and they let us live there for really cheap. So the backyard that we had was 2 acres. It was quite a large backyard.
Was this when you lived with John King?
No, this is when I lived right in front of the high school.
Gotcha.
And
gotcha.
way back there was this, for some reason, that they came like this, and we never did anything about it. There was this huge hole in the backyard, and there was this big mound in front of it. And we didn't ever buy targets or anything because they were dull arrows. They weren't going to go through anything except dirt. So we would just shoot at this dirt mound. And then when Douglas and Robert also got bows very similar to this, and so we would sit right outside my house, and we would all get our bows, and we would shoot arrows at each other. And you had to either dodge it or catch it. And we had a point system. Like if you got hit, you lost a point, and if you caught it, you got 3, and if you dodged it, you got 1. And then obviously we'd play Russian roulette to the best of our abilities, but shooting straight and up is very difficult. So like we would shoot and be like, last one standing, and the arrow would go like 40 feet away from us. So we'd be like, we all stayed. Well, okay, cool. We all got point. Next round.
Oh, that's funny.
We would just shoot arrows at each other, and we even used it in one of the YouTube videos that we made.
Oh man.
When we had our YouTube channel. And we were doing this pizza delivery video, and Robert was the one delivering the pizza, and we were all fighting over delivering this pizza, and I shot the arrow at him, and there's a shot in the YouTube video where he like jumps over it and catches it between his legs while he's jumping over a bush. It's honestly very cinematic. And that was because of the fact that I got that bow, and then they all got a bow as well. So
wow.
Very, very fond memories of that bow.
I don't know why you said bow, and for some reason this came to mind, and I definitely remember getting this on Christmas morning and looking at the box and screaming. And it's one of those moments as a kid where you just like you have a meltdown because how happy you are.
Right.
I don't know how to explain it. I got a little electric dirt bike for Christmas one year.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know about this.
I was pretty young. I was like, this is before I think we were even really close friends at all.
Okay, gotcha.
I was like 6 or 7, maybe 8 years old, and it was this tiny little blue electric dirt bike that I rode into the ground. I drove this thing so many times, and I would just do loops around the house, go rah, 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 all around the house, and like my backyard has a steep hill. It's always looked like that. Like riding around the back of the house, I had to lean really hard and like get it up the hill and like push with my legs.
Okay, then I have a question. Did the bike make that sound, or was it you?
No, it was the bike.
Okay.
It had a little, like electric whirring sound, from the engine. I also, I had just so many chronicles with that bike where I just ride it around because I wasn't allowed to go like ride it up the street because I was 7 years old.
Obviously, yeah.
So
crossing the road is dangerous, but giving a child an electric dirt bike is less dangerous.
Well, as long as you can see him when you ride it, So that's one of my. I mean, when I think of, I don't know why I didn't think of this when I was writing my list, but dirt bike.
You're probably one of the reasons that your hill is so steep now is because you eroded the hill with all your riding. You made it worse.
No, it's always looked like that, but. Yeah, that's one of my favorite gifts of all time.
You mentioned scavenger hunt earlier, and we had that one time. We all had to, and I don't remember it specifically. I do remember reaching behind the TV to get a clue that I had found, and it led us all outside where 4 bikes were lined up, and all 4 of us got a bike.
Aww.
And I still have that bike. Matter of fact, it's this blue and white bike, and I honestly don't remember how old I was, but I must have been old enough where it was a decently sized bike, because when I first came to UF, that was the bike I was using to ride around campus while I was living on campus.
Wow.
I still fit on this thing, and obviously I'm over 6 feet tall now, so I don't remember how old I was when I got this bike, but it had to have been at a time where I was decently sized.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because I was able to ride it. So that bike, I also rode that thing into the dirt. Like I replaced the chains on that probably 4 different times, and the ones that are
Wow.
on there now are just brown and rusted because I rode that so many times. And then last one here isn't anything huge. It's another small one that I love, is my Liar's Dice game. I got that for Christmas. So I got introduced to the game from a friend of mine named Matthew from high school. We played Liar's Dice at his house. A couple of us from high school, we were all hanging out at his place. I think we were all spending the weekend there because it was some weekend during Christmas break, or maybe it was even after high school, and we were all just kind of in town. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I played the game, and it was so much fun. We played that game for hours. We must have played probably 30 rounds in a row of Liar's Dice. We played it for hours. And so I asked for it, and for some reason, you couldn't just find a game of Liar's Dice that also came with the board that I have. Liar's Dice was just something you bought in like this wooden box that came with like cups that were stacked on top of each other and all the dice that you needed. But it came in like a 6-inch by 4-inch by 4-inch box. Like it all fit into a fairly small box, and there was no board. And I really wanted the board. So I got Liar's Dice for Christmas, and she had found, I guess maybe on Amazon or eBay or something, one of the editions that they had made with the board from like 1985, still in its saran wrap, so I could have the board. And I mean, I've played that game a million times. I played it with you and Colin when he was over.
Yep.
We played it for about
It's
an
a fun
hour
game.
or even more. And I've gotten not millions, I'm going to say it, millions of board games over the years for Christmas.
Yeah.
Just because I love board games, and I always like to find new ones, or tabletop games, like different things with cards, like Punderdome that
Yeah.
you got me. I think that was for my birthday though.
It was, yeah, I think so.
But either way, just any tabletop card, board game, whatever. I've gotten millions of them, and Liar's Dice is top of one of the ones at the top of the list for me, because I think I've played that one maybe the most, next to things like 5-Second Rule, because everyone can understand that game.
Yeah, 5-Second Rule's an easy one.
Yeah, and Liar's Dice is really easy too, but those two I've played a lot. And Super Fight. Super Fight I got for
Super Fight.
I got for last Christmas actually. I got Super Fight and 2 of the expansion packs. I love Super Fight. You and I used to play that after we would be done at youth group. We would go to Whataburger
Yeah.
with some people, and we would stay there till like 2 a.m. playing Super Fight with like
That was the
Ricky and
life.
Gabe.
That was the life.
Dude, that was the life. So we would go on Wednesdays after our youth group. There was the bowling alley in our town on Wednesdays had a deal where you went and you still rented the shoes for like $2 or whatever.
Yep.
And then each game you played was a quarter.
A quarter.
It was 25 cents. So we would go play 4 rounds of bowling on a Wednesday night for $3 in total. And then we would go to Whataburger, get some dinner, and play Super Fight until like 2 a.m. because Whataburger's open 24/7.
Yep.
And we just sit there playing Super Fight. And I have so many good memories of just even some of like the combinations that happened in that game.
Yeah.
I remember one time Ricky's character was, his character card was conjoined twins. And then his 2 attributes were riding a centaur and depressed. and that was what he had in the fight against, I don't remember, there was like a 100-story turtle at some point.
10-story turtle.
The 10-story turtle. Like there's such good memories from Super Fight, and
Yeah. Super Fight's a good game.
now I have it. It's such a good game. Another recommendation from, get anything that we said that we've gotten for Christmas over the years.
Get yourself a dirt bike
Go buy yourself a PS2
and watch Home Alone 2.
and Klaus, which neither of us has seen, but Jacob recommended it. So I guess go watch that.
We'll watch it before next episode.
Will we?
We'll watch it tonight.
Okay, fine.
Why don't you want to watch movies with me anymore?
Well, I've been in quarantine, and now I'm desensitized to the whole idea of sitting next to people.
All right. I do want to point out that we went through a whole Christmas episode without mentioning Pentatonics one time.
You know what? Because we didn't talk about Christmas music.
Right, but I'm saying we went through a whole Christmas episode. We didn't even mention it one time.
And you know what? I'm proud of it.
I'm proud of us too.
Proud of it.
You know what? Cheers to Pentatonics.
My empty water bottle.
I have a glass of water. All right, guys. That about wraps this up. We are excited for things that are coming in 2021. We're also excited to get 2020 over with We have one more episode this year before.
One more.
Yeah, before we close it out, we have one more episode coming out for you guys. It'll be coming out the same schedule. Then we will be taking a holiday break, and then we come back in 2021.
Sometime in January. We haven't figured out the semantics yet because my schedule is bazonkers.
Mm-hmm.
It's a word I made up just now to talk about how insane my schedule always is.
There's not another word in the English language that describes how crazy Kyle's schedule is. So, anywho, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate all of y'all, and we will see y'all next week. Bye-bye.
Love you. Mwah.